Hey guys, welcome back. So I did a stupid thing. I filmed my budgeting video for my December 31st paycheck. I edited the footage and then I don't know what happened to it. I'm not really sure. And so I was gonna go and just take the original footage and re-edit it again and upload it with a haha oops. But then I realized like it's super long. So maybe the universe was telling me something. So I'm going to try to do a quick sort of overview of what I did, because obviously it's already done. So I can't re-budget it in front of you, just to catch you up. And then we will just move on with our lives. So this is the new budgeting book that I'm using. So far, I'm really liking it. Obviously, you can see things are filled in. Let's just dive into it and see if I can make this a reasonable length video. So there's a section for your month goals. So I've put a goal is to set up the new budget planner, wisely use my Christmas bonus, and prep for the new year. My checklist is to figure out my sinking funds for this year and start preparation for taxes, like compiling like my donation receipts and things like that. I noted down my income here. There's also a section here where you write down your savings. There aren't enough lines in it to write down every individual sinking fund or even every individual contribution into some sort of a savings thing. So I've kind of smushed onto this first line there. On January 1st, I put money into the travel sinking fund, the emergency sinking fund, and my present/dragon boat sinking fund to a total amount of $120, which was $40 into each of those funds. I'll explain what I'm doing with my sinking funds in just a minute. Then down here is the calendar, which I very much wanted, and I'm very glad to have one back. I noted there on the 31st of December, like that was a payday, and I'm using it as if it's my first paycheck of January, because I mean, it's going towards all my January stuff, right? So I noted here, I paid rent. I also put a payment onto my Visa, my line of credit, and my student loan. The writing is very tiny. The boxes are very tiny. So the Visa payment was $618.65. I will explain that in a minute. My line of credit payment was $200. My student loan payment was my regular $51. And I used stickers that came with the book to mark down the different days I have bills due, as well as my paydays. They're cute. They fit perfectly into the box, as they should, considering they came with the book, but there's not enough of them to get me through the year. I mean, I think there's maybe enough for one more month. So you're going to be seeing different stickers coming up in the future. Not that you probably care. Yeah, so Visa's due there, line of credit due there, student loan is due there. So technically, by the 1st of this month, I had already made all of my payments for the month for those three things. Like, if I don't make another payment to them, everything is fine, which is kind of crazy. Makes you feel like you're off to a good start. Obviously, I will be making payments on my next paydays, but it's just pointing it out. I'm ahead of the curve. And then my cell phone due date is a guess, because I never know when it's due until a couple days prior when they send me a text message. But I took a look at it when I was doing my budgeting originally, and I think it said I had like 14 more days in my billing cycle or something. So I just roughly estimated that it'll be due somewhere around there. And I cannot put in when the payment for my parents' housekeeping is due, because she just texts me when she's done for that day and lets me know when that is, and then I just send her the payment. It's a different day every month, so I can't plot it in. That one has to kind of float, so I'll add it in once I've done it, just so I have a record every month showing that I paid it, but it's not a thing I can put on here in advance. Over on here on the budgeting pages, I put down that I paid my rent, and then also like that I pulled money out from this paycheck to go towards, I always pull some out every paycheck. And then my personal and my food, I always just mush into one category. So I just really made a note there saying that my personal budgeting money is in the food category. And then down here, from the 1st of January to the 13th, I've given myself $60 for food and like other, because I think that's really all I'm going to need. That first week, so this week that's just passed, I already had food prep for lunches. I didn't really need anything, so this is really just money to be spent for the week going forward. And I've actually already done my grocery shopping for this coming week. I did it yesterday, and I spent 30 something dollars, almost 40, so I'm doing okay. Gas, I gave myself my regular $250. I'm actually sort of ahead of the curve game, whatever, with that one, because we had a snow day, so I missed a day of going to work, which sucks because I had to use a sick day for it, but does mean that I saved on gas. And then down here, I wrote down that I made the payment to the Visa, the line of credit, and the student loan. But you can see like there's not enough lines in this section as well for tracking that. So I'm not sure if this is really meant to be tracking debt in terms of like payments made, or if I'm actually supposed to be using it more for just tracking that I have the debt. But I like the idea of marking down here as well that I made payments. So I'm just gonna, this other section, I'm going to repurpose it to be a continuation of this so that I can just keep filling it in for the rest of the month. Yeah. Then the next pages are the expense trackers. I'm not used to these yet, and I'm not sure if I'm actually using it right or not. So I wrote down, because on January 1st, I paid the student loan, the line of credit, the Visa, the sinking funds. I bought sushi for takeout, and I paid rent. And I don't know if for expense trackers, if you're actually supposed to be marking down like that you paid bills and things, or if they're meant really just for like not bills, you know, so like my sushi takeout dinner. But I mean, I figured that's what I spent money on, so that's what I was going to track. I have been buying things this past week, but because everything I purchase is online, I have a debit tracking record for it. So I'm just going to go in and kind of add them on. Like I'm not filling it out per day. But yeah, if you have any tips for like how to more effectively utilize an expense tracker, or if I'm doing it wrong, please let me know, because I'm kind of just guessing my way through it. This section here, now this I can't do till the end of the month, so we can just ignore it. This section here, I don't think I like it. It's the notes and idea page, but you can really use it for anything. And if you've seen any of my other budgeting videos, you know that I always go and I like write out the math to deduct out everything that I paid and what money has come in and what my balance is and things like that, so that I know where I'm sitting. And so I started doing it here. I'm gonna have 3 paychecks this month, so I guess theoretically I can fit the other 2 there. And then over here I put my sinking fund information, but there's no way I can fit like this breakdown for each paycheck as well as sinking fund information for 3 on this little page. And like, it's a dot grid. You would think with the dot grid I would have at least managed to get everything straight, but you can see I'm still going crooked. It's just, I don't know, I'm not loving it. So what I'm thinking of doing is repurposing some of the back pages of the expense tracker, because I don't think on any given month I'm going to use more than at most 2 pages on the expense tracker. I don't really buy that much. I mean, I know I have bursts of like stupid spending, but not that much. Maybe closer to like December, I might have to use more than 1 page, but I think most months I'll just be using maybe 1.5 or 2. So I'm going to repurpose these 2, change out the tops so that I can put this information over on these ones. It's going to irritate me because I'm an irritable human and I'm not going to like having to repurpose them, and there's going to be months I'm too busy and I just don't. But this is the plan as of right now. But yeah, so really quickly for the paycheck for then, my balance was super high because I had Christmas bonus money sitting in there, and some money I got as presents. So I deducted out from the balance like my bonus, my other bonus, money from my parents, money from Chaya that I still haven't spent and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and then gave myself what I considered my real balance. So it was $1,380.23. Then I took out a portion of rent, student loan, gas, food and other, and a line of credit payment. I just realized now I forgot to actually also deduct from there the money I put into the sinking funds, so we'll add that in a minute. And then yeah, the sinking funds over here, I used my Christmas bonus money to fully fund all of my sinking funds for the upcoming year, so that every paycheck I can pull out less money to go towards my sinking funds, thereby making my monthly payments or my bi-weekly payments to my debt bigger. I'm hoping this will work out to be a good thing. In my head, it works out well. Yeah, so my car insurance, my BCAA, my Microsoft, my Norton, my WordPress, and my tenant insurance are all fully funded as of right now. Having said that, my Microsoft went out, it's supposed to go out the 1st of January. It went out a couple days later, but whatever, it's gone out. So I need to start funding that one, but I had a little bit of extra money that I think I'm going to use to just fully fund it again, and then it's just done and dusted. I don't have to worry about it. But I have 3 sinking funds, one for travel, one that's like a combo for presents and dragon boating, and one that's an emergency fund that I never stop contributing to. So those 3, I'm going to put money in every paycheck. So I'm not completely eliminating having to pull money every paycheck to go into a sinking fund. It's just much less than what it usually is. And then as these come up and get used, so like what the next one would be in May, right? May, yeah, in May for like BCAA, like that one, it'll get paid out and then it'll be empty. Then I will have to start contributing to it again to fully fund it. But because I only have to contribute to one to fully fund it, I'm hoping I can fund it quicker than normal and then just have it done again and just be, I'm hoping it'll leave it a little bit ahead of the game, or leave me a little bit ahead of the game. I don't know, I've never done them like this. We're gonna see if it works. Yeah, and then the only other section in here, it's a bit different, having all these different things to switch in between. Oh, I think I just knocked you and you might be wobbling. Sorry, guys. Is this bill tracker. So I've dated it through the months for the year, and then I put rent, visa, line of credit, cell phone, parents' housekeeping, student loan, emergency fund, travel fund, dragon boating / presents, and donations. And I guess I'll just check them off as I go. Donations, I like to be able to give to charity when I'm able to, but I'm very haphazard about it. I tend to just, if a good charity, good, how do you decide what's good? But if a charity that speaks to me crosses my path at a time when I have money that I can contribute, I will. Like when the Australia fires happened, I gave money to help koala bears. It's not something that would normally be on my radar, but there you have it. So I want to be a little bit more organized with it. And I've decided I'm aiming for every 3 months to make a donation to a charity. So I'm not doing them all in one big lump sum. I can do them more often than that if something crosses my path that I like the look of, but I don't want to do it less frequently than that. So the very end of December, I donated to 3 charities because I hadn't yet, and they all kind of sent me reminders, and I figured, okay, I'll do it for last year. So I put them all in on like the last day of the year. So really that kind of, going by my 3-month rule, sets me up so I don't need to make another donation until March. So, you know, when I'm easing into March, I'll start looking for where I want to put some money and just kind of make my way throughout the year. Also, it'll help me so that I can keep track of my tax receipts, because every end of the year I start being like, I know I have tax receipts for donations somewhere, and I always think that I put them somewhere safe so I can find them easily when it's time to start getting paperwork together for tax season. And then every year I'm like, nope, I think I missed one. So hopefully it'll keep me a bit more organized. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's what I've done with the budgeting so far. I pulled out my notebook. I miss this notebook. It's so pretty. To do the math for figuring out, well, my end of year math for like the sinking funds and how much I was going to need. Oh, and that huge payment on the visa. So I had a bonus of $1,112, as well as a secondary bonus of $500. I will not bore you with the explanation of why they're divided. So I needed $993.55 to fully fund my remaining sinking funds. So I used the money from the $1,102, like I used the bulk of that to go towards fully funding them. Then I used the remainder, excuse me, that was left over, which was $118.65, plus the $500 from the other work bonus to put onto the visa. Because I had purchased some items that were like finally shipping, so the payments were coming through, or not the payments, sorry, the charges were coming through. And yeah, I just, instead of moving that balance over onto the line of credit, I've just decided I kind of want to pay the visa off, and then I'm dealing with the line of credit. But my main focus right now for debt is I want to start being more proactive with paying off the student loan, because right now there's no interest on it. And while you might think, oh, hey, then you don't need to worry about it, the no interest only goes through until the beginning part of 2023, and then the interest comes back. And the interest is so high on the student loan that when it's being charged, I can't afford to make a payment, because the payment amount that they require every month is so high that it's out of my reach. Which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it, because right now without interest, I need to pay a little, like a hair under $51 a month as my minimum payment. And then all of a sudden they add interest and it's like almost $200, and it's crazy. So I want to pay off as much of it as I can before the interest comes back. And then whatever's remaining, if I'm able to pay it off in like a lump sum, which I don't think, to be honest, that I'll be able to, but if I'm able to, then great, even if it means dipping into like an emergency fund or something. But if I'm not, I'll pay the remainder off with my line of credit, and then just pay the interest of my line of credit, which is much less than the interest the government charges on the student loans. So this is kind of my money plan for the year, is focus on the student loan, get it taken care of, while also getting my line of credit more under control and getting my visa sorted out sooner rather than later. So yeah, see the plan. I have a plan. Hopefully it'll work. But there we go. That is my budget for the last paycheck that I had on December 31st. We're already, whatever, we're already here on the 8th, so you'll have me back pretty soon doing the budgeting for that one. Sorry these are so crammed together. But yeah, footage lost. What are you gonna do? I hope your budgeting for the beginning of this new year is going really well already, and it's leaving you feeling kind of positive and in control, because mine definitely has, and I'm enjoying that sensation. Give me a couple more paychecks. I'm sure it'll be gone. But for now, it's great. There we go. Have a great one, you guys. Stay safe out there. I will talk to you in another week. Bye.